And the hair, the clothes.
That's my motto in 2025. We're not wasting each other's time.
Lesson learned.
Is mine. If you stand me up here, I will block. Then when you call, hey. Yes, I'm joking, guys. This is not the kind of person I am. Yurukutamba. We laugh. No, we don't pay. But we number maybe. Anyways, we are talking about mastering first impressions, which is crucial in both digital and physical worlds. And I've understood that. And then just think one thing I've told myself is when it comes to social media, I don't post relationships. I don't post like something very funny. And I remember there's an American person that posted actually, you know how the silicone dolls are quantum like a real baby, like a proper baby with hair and everything. I remember commenting, she's dumb. I had to go and take it down because they're like, you never know who's watching, you never know who comes across that comment. You got the precious Musasa say this. So I'm very like what I post, if it's going out, I'm careful with the content I'm putting. So I was also asking people, the first impressions matter even in person. Good, you can't forget what they did to you the very first time you met. So in your words, what exactly is it when we talk about first impressions and how they matter?
Yes, first impressions matter a lot. And what we have to know is that you're making a first impression in the first 7 seconds of meeting someone physically or even digitally. Yes. And you have to make the most of it. There's no chance of having a second first.
Unfortunately. You always remember your first.
Exactly.
My celebrities are around you, always remember what they did the first time.
Always remember. And you're always making, like, it's not an event. You're not saying, okay, so I'm going there, so I have to make a first impression. We are constantly making first impressions everywhere we are. So everything that we have to do should be intentional, whether it's physically or it's online.
True.
Yes, you have to make the most of it. Just yesterday I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she cut her hair, and she didn't have a plan. So I met her up and I said, oh, you cut your hair, but what are you intending to do with your hair? They said, I just felt like cutting it, and it wasn't like a styled cut, it was just a regular cut. And then we were taking her daughter to the salon, and when we got there, the hairdresser was like, okay, so she's getting braids, and you, and then she was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my hair. And then I was just telling the hairdresser that, you know what, the first time my brother came with this woman home, I will never forget. Like, she had this pin set, I
remember.
And then her hair was cascading down the side, and it was nice. And then we were like, oh, our brother made such a good choice. Remember, this is more than 25 years down the line, but I can still remember that first day that our brother brought her home. So that's the impact that first impressions make. So today we're just going to give a few tips on how you can make an impressive first impression. Physically, your clothes.
True.
Just general grooming.
I was actually researching about first impressions, and I got to understand that appearance matters. Body language, communication, preparation as well. Be prepared to introduce yourself. And one thing you taught us last time you were here is how there needs to be a distance between your shoulders and your chin. Your jawline. You get what I mean. The way you're holding your head says a lot.
Just how you appear. Your clothes, they don't have to be new. Are they clean? Are they ironed?
That is true.
Do they have all the buttons on? You know, it's just those little things that will really have an impact on you. I always say this, I like standing out. Wherever I go, I'll make sure that you will notice me. You have to notice me. And it doesn't mean that
when you do that, do you come early?
I don't even come early. I might just be on time.
You want to make a statement.
But let me give you an example. This other time I was doing this course, and the next day we were going to meet an ambassador. And our lecturer said, so tomorrow everyone is informal. We are going to be looking good. Everyone's going to be in their suits. so that we meet the ambassador.
Mm.
And I knew that everyone's gonna be in black, grey,
Don't tell me.
navy,
What did you?
you know, the corporate colors.
What did you?
I had a suit.
What color was it? Say the color.
Okay, so it wasn't over the top. It was mint green. It was mint green. I'll send you the picture.
Right.
But then because everyone was in black, navy blue, grey,
You stood
and I was
out.
the only one in mint green, it was a suit, it was a formal suit, but the moment you see those pictures, you will notice me and you want to know what is she all about.
You were intentional.
I was
about it.
intentional. So you have to be intentional in everything that you do. You mentioned the greetings.
Mhm.
Quite recently, I posted on my socials about greetings that you should at least greet someone by their name. Well, research before I'm coming here. At least I should know this is Precious, this is Nyasha, and there's an impact. There's something about greeting someone by their name.
True.
Yeah, just coming in here and say hi, and then coming in and say hi, Precious. You know,
There's a difference. There's a huge difference.
there is a huge difference. So those are some of the things that really do contribute to making lasting first impressions.
All right. So I also did my research when it comes to digital first impressions and physical first impressions, and I'm also going to be asking questions mixing both digital and physical. And the first one is, I noticed how you are talking about intentionality.
Yes.
It's not only about the way you dress when it comes to first impressions. How can I optimize my social media profiles to make a great impression? Now I'm careful. There some I'm not mentioning. There's some people that dated Mangudara and they broke up, but they're married now. But the thing that the internet does not forget. I to remind you dated 2022
years ago.
It's back. So how can I optimize my social media profiles to make a great first impression? No, nothing I joke. Sorry. There's a lady IT per TikTok. And I'm advertise my business thing. She said she time proper business pages. And in the page you took a So as a customer, that's the first impression I'm getting. So how does one optimize their social media profiles?
So at least the first point of call, I think, would be to separate your social life and your business life.
True.
Because now the social media is now the CV. It's not the CV. Even myself, when I'm asked to go speak somewhere, or if someone asks me to, do business with them, the first thing I do is I go on their social media. So everyone should be really, they should know that whatever that they, from the profile picture, this profile picture, very hazy. I remember my shop, see, I got a t-shirt, and then you're thinking, is this person serious? At least because I need to see some.
He said, hi coach, I would love to be your assistant one day.
Exactly. And let's make use of AI at least. Alright, I was Peter, whatever. So that I always say that when I go to your socials, I should get at least 2 or 3 things that you are about. I should tell just by going through your posts. I should tell, okay, so this is Precious. Oh, so I think she loves fashion. She's into media. I should get at least 2 or 3. Not good enough. And there is a fashion. Mangwana ndikisa mapipe face. Mangwana ndakutuka murume. Mangwana ndakuita maskit.
And everyone is doing a skit.
And the skits will be so bad.
It will be so bad.
They'll be cringe. Like,
I know.
There's
a friend of mine who said, I posted a video with Becky and we did something fun. And somebody's like, why don't you add skits to you? I'm like, no, it's a one-time
I was
thing.
actually discussing this with someone quite recently, and I was saying, do you know that there's a difference between a brand and an influencer?
Oh, yeah.
If you're a brand, you're not an influencer. If you're an influencer, there's some things that as a brand, as Coach Molly, I shouldn't behave like an influencer. There's some things that I shouldn't just post. I shouldn't be posting Dakamira Pamajiwa going and trying to show off, and because I'm not an influencer, I'm a brand. But for an influencer, she can post that because she's not exactly. So at least first of all, know Kuti, your pages, give us the impression, give us the perception. What you give us is what we will take. Yes. So give us what you want to portray about yourself. And then before you post, I think I mentioned this last time, that for the royal family, everything would go through the queen before being posted, even on the official pages. So just ask yourself, if my potential boss or potential business partner is going to see this, how are they going to perceive me?
And I like what you're saying with the when it comes to digital first impressions, we can tell from my post. Okay, Coach Molly does etiquette training. Precious does this. Tendai does this. I always talk to my niece who's 21, and I always say, do you know what? The unfortunate thing about the internet, it's different from time with the internet. We do not forget. Always. If you cuss on the internet and now you're a woman of God, we will bring back the video you cussing and say, you were saying these words 3 years back. What happened? What this is my presented a woman of God. How did you change? So first impressions really do matter. What are some best practices for kind of email etiquette and communication? Last time I did this, even when you're trying to send someone a message, I'm going to
exactly.
Hey, how
where's
are you
the
doing?
greeting? Answer hi.
But still under Coach Malika hi, because when I open the message, maybe I'm busy. I'm just going to say hi back.
Exactly.
So at least get straight. How do I get straight to the point without sounding as if I'm rushing you or I'm being rude?
So at least when sending a message for the first time, you greet, hello, good day, ma'am, sir. If you know this is a woman or a man, or at least, and then introduce yourself immediately. Whether it's physically, whether it's on the phone, whenever you're meeting someone for the first time, immediate. Don't wait for them to then ask you. Yes, introduce yourself and then get straight to the point. Just go straight to the point, so that at least Canary is like what you said. Oh, okay, it's a coach and she needs this, and then you're going straight to the point. Yeah, it works with our family cannot.
But WhatsApp, the greeting WhatsApp, I feel like it depends. You have to know who to say it to. Not everyone when you say, hey, what's up? There's a lot to learn about this. Anyways, going to physical first impressions. What are some key elements of a strong handshake? Or I don't know, how do I say hello without, because nowadays I know for a fact after COVID-19 a lot of people were so spectacular about my greeting.
Yes.
I'm germophobic like that. Meaning this guy I've experienced that his hands are wet when you're saying hi with the handshake. You're thinking to yourself, you in for down to how much was that? Anyway, so what am I supposed to do when I'm greeting Coach Molly for the first time? Should I go for a handshake? Should I go for a hug? Should I just stay where I am and greet you?
Okay, so in proper etiquette, when greeting, it depends now. There are two scenarios. If it's a man and a woman, then the man has to wait for the woman to act first. So if she's going to extend her hand, then he's going to give the handshake. But if she's not going to extend her hand first, then he's not going to give her a handshake. So we give the ladies first preference. But then, of course, it also depends on seniority.
True.
It might be a man, but it might be the president. And then there's me. So obviously, I'm going to wait for him to extend the hand first. I'm not going to just come and say, sorry, Mr. President, and I'm trying to hug him and yes, I'm going to wait for a signal. Obviously, I will see that she's about to give me a handshake, or if he's just standing, then I'll just greet him without the handshake. Yes. But if it's in business and then you're both comfortable with the handshake, make sure the handshake is firm. So I just got to my flimsy handshakes.
Exactly, exactly. Don't do that.
Yes.
And let me introduce myself now. Hi, I'm Chuma Sydney Mrato. We are learning.
Oh, nice to meet you, Chuma Sydney.
You just had
Thank you for
polite.
the feedback.
Alright, still talking about first impressions. How can I make a great first impression? I think there's so much business meetings, networking events. How do I make a great first impression without seeming as if I am loud or as if I know everything? Because definitely from my business meetings, there's networking in it, and you don't want to sound like you know everything or you're the only person that's smart in the room. So how can I make a first great impression in such a setup?
So this is going to do with something that I'd like to call aura. I like talking on aura.
Go ahead and talk about it.
So again, you're going to be intentional about everything. So from your outfit, it really has to show that this person is serious. Just the moment you walk in, seeing your outfit, seeing your hair, seeing your makeup, we should then within the first 7 seconds say, oh, okay, so maybe she's the guest speaker or something, without you even talking to us. And then your posture
is important.
How are you going to walk into the room? And there are things like, did you know that when you're walking into a room with people already, you are the one who's supposed to greet those people first. So I just don't come in here and you're here, you're already doing your thing and your space.
Yes.
So when you imagine this, she's greeting you first with a big smile on her face, cheerful. Already, I to create an environment here comfortable around her. Yes. And then don't be loud, like what you just mentioned. Yes. Listen, be attentive. And have you noticed that when worry of few words, everyone will listen.
True.
Because like, oh, okay, so I think he was taking in everything. And then now we are eager to learn. Okay, so angachi digest of teaching. Even your tone of voice, you have to coach yourself.
What you're saying is very true. As of late, I think I'm trying. It's not everyone who has to hear that loud laugh. I'm sorry. It's not. And when people are having a conversation, it's not every time when you have to laugh.
Exactly.
That's a habit I had. I wanted to laugh.
Exactly. So it's even proven that, like for women, if it's like corporate and you're talking to male, and if your voice is like ka soprano keke, it is said that they'll be having a problem listening to you. But if your voice is deep, then they are bound to listen to what you're saying.
So imagine
he's
nodding his head, it's true.
Yeah, so just imagine this or something, and then I'll squeeze and then you're like, no, I will not accept that. No, we're not going to accept that. It's different.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having that voice. We're just saying how you put it out.
Exactly, it's just how you put it out. And then at least gather as much information as possible concerning the meeting or the event. Actually, I always say to my classes, event, all you're going to contribute or say is one. Atina kutombonzwa kuti uri kunazoti chine hausi kutoziva zviri kuitika munyika, like general news, like general. Pakutaurwa nezvematarisa apira nechidhenga pakaipa tinotozviona kuti makeup zvayo ka nehairstyle, but
tikatanga kutora nyaya dzemasocialite I'm already wrong, Igabo.
Eh.
You're the first one to know who's right and who's wrong.
But after she's serious, atindi kunzwa izvozvo zvamaconversation.
And you know, like what you're saying, it's very important to just, you're not supposed to know, like what you said, no, you're not a news person to know everything. But there's nothing wrong with knowing what's happening in your country, in the world.
Kune news dzitongori general. Like, it's just general.
It's just general.
It's just general. Saka, you might not know everything, but paurikumuka chero watazotenga newspaper, but chimwendopa kune machannel eBBC kana news yedu zimu online chaiyo. Ungoona ungotiwo nhasi kune murume akazorumwa nembwa chichikatoti nenyaya yoyo yekuzikanwa nevanhu vese kuti mapitbuu anesi iwo utoshezoti
I understand that. Anyways, Coach, I'm going to ask my last question for first impressions, physical impressions, and you tell us what you had prepared for us about first impressions. The last one is, how can I use my body language to convey confidence and positivity?
Yes. So all of that constitutes in your aura as well. So body language is just what I talked about. Your posture, the eye contact. Oh yes, there's something I also wanted to mention on the show today concerning going on a first date. Yes, how are you going to make a lasting impression on a first date? So imagine this, Urgushika on a first date, and then so the gentleman is sitting right opposite the table, Urgushika, and then you're like, wakangomtarisa kusabhegi rako apa, at least wakabata phone, maybe
my goodness. I feel like pictures of chikaf. There's nothing wrong with do that, but not on the first date.
Imagine
Imagine. That is embarrassing. Not on the first. I feel like that is something you can do. Not on a date in general. You can do that with your friends. With your
girlfriends. But I'm not. Yeah, that's something that I really want to point out today and say. Just be that mature lady, and when you get to the table, put your phone in your bag to show that you're respecting this time, and you'd rather be with this person than anyone else in this moment. And try bag so that you give him time to really admire you and just say,
I've been on a cherry in the Gambutinga bones by face.
Oh my goodness, cherry manango. How did that work out for you, Cherry?
I just got together. Please tell us.
We want to know more.
I want to know. I want to know as well. What exactly transpired? Are you guys still talking? Are you guys? Because first impression, like how even if you are married, I've heard so many people that have been married for more than 10 years, they will still remember the first impression.
They will.
Like what you're saying, you remember your sister-in-law the first time you met her.
The first time, exactly. And then there's this lady who told, I don't know if I told you this before, but she was saying on the first date, anga snausura mao futa mao kusakagene tushena pakati. And then on the second date, that guy mentioned kuti auna kurongeka. You can't even take care of yourself. You can't even put hand uneshena mumaoko. I don't know whether that was right or wrong, but
it was wrong. But it's also our fault as the woman. But yeah, that's embarrassing.
Because his point was, if you can't take care of yourself enough to just put hand lotion, how are you going to take care of everything else?
I've told myself when I'm going for a first date, I would rather preview the menu, because obviously if it's not impromptu, okay, let's go for a date. I don't want to look stupid and I don't want to look undecided. So I would rather, if I would rather read the menu at the advantage of being digitalized. You know, oh, we don't have that, and then you start looking for something else. And not to watch, but I think I want pasta. No, not on the first date. Yeah, that's another one. Iwe chero kusenga mabhonzo tatizvondiudza kuti
Nai cherizoka mwanangu ndakunzwa.
Anzoni ini ndasvika right now I'm loving zvekudzidziswa ini ndine problem I talk too much me too I talk too much nekuseka like inoseka ndinoseka Mama ladies and Julia, thank you so much for choosing Capital 0719-100-404. So how does one contain themselves, put themselves together when they allowed? I talk a lot, and I feel like, and one thing I've told myself is because of the nature of my job, at times you cannot. Okay, so tell me about you. It's just me, and you forget about the next person. So how do I contain myself and remember? Okay, first impressions matter.
I think you just have to balance that and be just conscious of the environment or of the event, because you still have to show that personality. Probably he loves that part, that bit about you, that talkativeness, the laughing. Yes, I remember when I got married, Kumusha. Then Tetered was like, Musapritse mazino, munenge mumere nzenza, musasekerere, you know. And then so we appeared moody. And then after the thing, everything, then I was left with my sister Kumusha. Then how we were having the time of our life. Then my father-in-law came to me and said, Shamaka to sununguka one name maskanemi. Exactly. So sometimes in trying to look composed, you might actually send the wrong signal. So you should strike a balance between showing your true personality and then trying to just tone it down a little bit.
Anzi, I'm a shy person. Saka kutaura nekuseka zvinoita cover up. Ndikanyarara ndinobva ndanyarara. That is true. Okay, so my matipa, and conclusively, just understand that you can show yourself your true colors. Just don't overdo it.
Exactly.
Anzi nacheri aiwa akabva aenda kuchando hake kana kutsuka. Akatsoka nditize. Vemabhonzo ava ndingavazoni.
Sorry, Cherry.
So I'm so sorry, my sister. 0719-100-404. We are 6 minutes away from the news. And what are your parting words, Coach Molly?
So my parting words on making first impressions is be intentional about everything. Have it well thought out. If you're going out, don't just go out. Even if you're going to the shops, even if you're just taking someone out, like they visited you now or be intentional. My slippers are not alright. Can't I just put on a jacket because you never know who you're going to meet. Yes.
It is about his heartbeat, and that's what we had today. We will catch Coach Molly next week Tuesday from 1:30 all the way until 2. First impressions, which are crucial in both digital and physical worlds. We talked about social media profiles, what you put on online, the appearance, body language, communication, and all the other things. You need to make sure that by mastering first impressions in both digital and physical worlds, you can establish a strong foundation for building relationships, trust, and credibility. It is Anaria's Heartbeat. We are getting to the news time. I'm going to play you Takura Las Bosho, one of my favorite love songs.